I didn't turn around and run. Probably because a part of me was tired of running. Tired of being invisible. Tired of waiting for anyone to remember that I was still here. This isn't a story I'm proud of, and you might judge me for it. Maybe that's how it should be. But sometimes, silence weighs more than the truth. And if this spares even one person from crossing a threshold, beyond which the door can no longer be closed, then maybe this shame is worth it. So stay with us, because this story isn't just about what happened upstairs. It's about what happens when you betray yourself. Subscribe, because some confessions can only be whispered here. My name is Elizabeth, I'm 36 years old, I've been married for 11 years, and I'm a mother of 2. My husband Gregory is a good man. He works hard, pays the bills, is there when it matters most. But good isn't the same as present. For 3 years now, I've been having dinner across from a man whose eyes almost never meet mine. We talk about schedules, groceries, the kids' homework, the house. But when did we last talk about us? When did he last truly look at me and see me? Our house is full of noise, laughter, cartoons, the hum of appliances. But my heart lives in silence, and the worst part is, I didn't notice when it started. It crept up quietly. Little things. Fewer touches, fewer late-night conversations, a kiss on the cheek instead of the lips. Conversations that started to feel like checking off a to-do list. And at some point, I stopped asking for more because over time, asking started to feel like begging. And no one wants to beg for love. I kept myself busy with things. The kids needed me. Work kept me from relaxing. But at night, when the dishes were done, the lights were dim. And Gregory sat on his end of the sofa scrolling through his phone. Loneliness pressed down on me like a second skin. Then Victor came along. He wasn't a stranger, an old acquaintance, part of Gregory's business circle. We'd meet at events, exchange polite smiles, occasionally say hello. But something shifted the night of Gregory's birthday party. I was helping serve drinks when I caught Victor's gaze. And this time, he wasn't just looking at me, he was looking through me. As if he saw the part of me I had tucked away deep inside. The woman beneath the mother mask, the woman beneath the mask of the polite hostess. He said things no one had said to me in years. You look stunning tonight. I almost didn't recognize you. You have such a glow about you. I laughed it off, tried to brush it away, but his words stuck with me. They wrapped around me like a warm scarf I hadn't even known I was missing. After that, conversations became easier. At gatherings, we'd find each other. Little moments here and there. A shared joke, a glance that lingered a beat too long. Nothing improper. Not exactly. But enough to make my pulse quicken. I told myself it was harmless, that I just enjoyed feeling noticed again. But deep down, I started missing that look when he wasn't around. And that was the first crack. One evening, Gregory decided to host a business meeting at our house. Nothing fancy, just a few colleagues, a couple of clients, dinner with catering. The expectation was that I'd help serve, smile politely, and fade into the background as usual. By then, I had gotten very good at playing the role of the invisible woman. The evening hummed with laughter, the clinking of glasses. The low murmur of conversations I wasn't part of. I glided between rooms, topping up drinks, clearing plates. Pretending it didn't hurt that Gregory barely acknowledged my presence. Then Victor arrived. The energy in the room shifted when he walked in. He always had that kind of presence. Confident, smooth, dangerous, attentive. I caught his eye as I passed by with a tray. His gaze lingered on me. He smiled slowly, knowingly. Later, as the night dissolved into a pleasant haze of noise, I slipped into the kitchen to catch my breath. That's where he found me leaning casually against the doorframe, drink in hand. You've been on your feet all night, he said quietly. Don't you deserve a break? I managed a smile. Someone has to keep things running. He stepped closer, close enough for me to feel the warmth of his breath. Help me with something upstairs? He asked, his voice low. I want to show you something away from the crowd. I hesitated. Every instinct screamed at me to say no, to smile politely and excuse myself. But in that moment, something inside me rebelled. I was tired of being background noise. Tired of being the woman who always said no to her own desires. I should have said no, but my feet moved before my mouth could. I followed him upstairs. My pulse throbbed in my throat. My mind frantically searched for justifications. It's probably something harmless. Maybe a painting. Maybe that new room Gregory mentioned. But deep down, I knew the truth. The stairs that night felt longer, each step heavier than the last. And yet, I kept climbing. When we reached the landing, Victor turned, his eyes dark with something I couldn't name. He pushed open a door, and it creaked slowly inward. And there I saw them. 3 men stood inside, glasses in hand, watching me. A moment of anticipation. I couldn't breathe. Then one of them smiled. That smile with too much white in it. Goosebumps rose on my skin, my heart hammered wildly. I wanted to turn around, run, scream, but my legs wouldn't obey. I stood frozen, trapped between the woman I was and the woman I was about to become. Stay with us, because what happened next, I still can't forgive myself for. Time slowed down. I heard the loud, panic beating of my heart, drowning out the rest of the world. Every instinct screamed, run. Get out. This isn't you. And yet my feet seemed glued to the floor. I wanted to run, but a part of me wanted to be desired, even for the wrong reasons. I stood there, frozen in that doorway, while their eyes roamed over me. None of them moved, but the air was thick with expectation. And beneath the fear, something darker stirred, a deep, aching pain that had lived in me for months. Maybe years. I saw flashes. Gregory sitting at the dinner table, scrolling through his phone. The way his hand would absently brush against mine. The cold space between us in bed every night. The loneliness was louder than the danger in that room. And then came the rationalizations, quick and desperate. They don't really care about me. I'm nothing special to them. But maybe this is easier than being invisible to the one who's supposed to love me. A part of me hated that thought. Another part clung to it. One of the men stepped forward. Slowly, deliberately. He reached out and brushed a strand of hair from my face. His fingers grazed my cheek. I flinched, but I didn't move. I kept telling myself, over and over, one step back. You can still leave. One word. You can stop this. But every second rooted me deeper. In their eyes, there was no tenderness. No love. Just hunger. And for one moment, a shameful moment, I wanted to be consumed, because then, at least, I would be seen. Another flash. Gregory turning away, his back to me. The nights I lay awake, longing for hands that never came. If Gregory had touched me like that, maybe I wouldn't be here. Maybe I wouldn't be trembling now in a room full of strangers, craving the wrong kind of attention. But I was here, and in that moment, desire felt stronger than reason. They moved slowly. No sudden movements, no raised voices, just subtle shifts. One man stepped forward, another leaned in a little closer. I felt them closing in on me. Victor's voice cut through the silence, soft, right by my ear. You're beautiful. Why do you hide it? My breath caught. One voice screamed, run now, while you still can. But another voice, quieter, more dangerous, whispered, stay. Just this once. Stay and remember what it feels like to be seen. Victor reached for a nearby table, poured a drink. Amber liquid swirled in the glass. He offered it to me, smiling calmly, confidently. I took it, my fingers trembling. I told myself, one sip, and then I'll leave. Just one. But even the first sip burned more than whiskey should. It burned because I knew I wasn't leaving. The room seemed to shrink. The walls pressed in with every breath. Another man touched me too close. His hand brushed mine. Has anyone ever told you, you have a smile that could make a man forget himself? I laughed, nervous, strained. It wasn't a real laugh. It was the laugh women use when they're drowning inside. And that's exactly where I was drowning. Victor moved behind me, his fingers trailing down my arm, stopping at my wrist. His grip was gentle, but his words were clear. You won't leave this room the same woman. Another man leaned in, whispered something I couldn't even process. My mind was fogging over. My body was betraying me, still standing there, still faintly smiling. Still sipping that damn drink. Every second pulled me deeper. And just as I thought, maybe I can still leave. Maybe this can still be saved, I heard it. I click. Someone locked the door. That sound was louder than any scream. My breath stopped. My skin went cold. And in that instant, every illusion of control vanished. If you think that's where it ended, no. Not even close. The air in the room changed. It became heavier, thicker. Their smiles softened, darkened, grew more confident. One of the men, tall, broad-shouldered, stepped forward and took my hand. His grip was warm, firm. I could have pulled away, but I didn't. He led me to the sofa. My legs followed, unthinking. I sat down, heart pounding, breath shallow. Just be polite, then leave, I told myself, over and over. Smile. Make an excuse. Get out of here. But my body was no longer listening. The men moved around me slowly, deliberately. Words fell around me like silk, soft, coaxing. You deserve more than he gives you. You've been invisible for too long. Tonight, you're ours to worship. I wanted to scream, this isn't worship, this isn't love. But my mouth stayed shut. Victor was behind me now. His fingers slid over my shoulder, along my neck. Then his lips pressed against my skin warm. Lingering. That was the first betrayal. And I allowed it. I didn't pull away. I didn't protest. Because in that moment, it wasn't about wanting them. It was about needing to feel alive for just a moment, to remember I still existed. Another man leaned in. His lips brushed my ear. You smell intoxicating. His words sent a shiver through me. Not from pleasure, but from the war raging inside. I wasn't really there anymore. I was watching myself from a distance, watching this woman who looked like me sitting there, letting it happen. And then, a voice from downstairs. Victor, where'd you disappear to, old boy? The spell broke. The men froze. Victor pulled back. A sharp exhale escaped his lips. Without a word, he walked to the door and unlocked it. The sound of the bolt clicking back hit me harder than any touch that night. I stood or tried to. My legs were shaking, not from fear, but from shame. As I walked out, each step felt heavier than the last. I didn't look back. I couldn't. Don't go away, because what came next broke more than just me. I went down the stairs, one shaky step at a time. My hands trembled. My skin felt too tight. Every fiber of my being wanted to disappear. The laughter from the living room hit me like a slap. Ordinary, casual, unsuspecting. I forced myself to breathe, composed my face, and walked in. Gregory noticed nothing. He was deep in conversation, glass in hand, wearing that empty smile I'd grown accustomed to. Across the room, Victor. His eyes met mine. A slight smirk touched his lips. One of the other men looked at me too, smirked, raised his glass. I smiled. I laughed at someone's joke, but inside I was screaming. The rest of the night passed in a fog. I served more drinks, cleared empty plates, answered questions with a voice that barely sounded like my own. No one knew. No one saw the crack spreading inside me. When the last guest left, I cleared the table with shaking hands. Gregory kissed my cheek absently. Thanks for your help tonight. You're wonderful. I stifled a bitter laugh. Wonderful. If only he knew. The days after were worse. The next morning, Victor texted me. Last night was just the beginning. When can I see you again? I stared at the screen. My stomach clenched. I didn't reply, but I didn't delete it either. Every few hours, new ones came. You're unforgettable. I can't stop thinking about you. At home, the silence hung heavier than ever. Gregory followed his routine. Work, phone, bed. No changes, no questions in his eyes. He didn't notice the growing distance between us. Or maybe he'd just grown accustomed to it. Late at night, I'd look in the mirror, searching my reflection. Who am I? The woman staring back no longer felt like me. And yet, some nights, when the house was dark and the loneliness pressed too hard, I'd scroll through Victor's messages. I never replied, but I still read them. Every word a step towards something I didn't understand, something I seemingly couldn't let go of. Did I cheat? Did I betray him? Or had I already been betrayed by indifference? That question spun and spun in my head until I couldn't tell where it began. The days blurred into one. I moved through them like a ghost. Packing lunchboxes, folding laundry, helping with homework, smiling when I needed to smile, laughing when expected. But inside, I was dissolving. I hated them. I hated myself even more. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that room. The click of the door, the weight of their gazes on me, the burn of Victor's lips on my skin. It played on a loop, a film I couldn't stop, couldn't turn off. And the worst part, a small, broken part of me missed the feeling of being wanted.